Alright guys, so I learned something in the last 2 days. This is my new trailer I bought. I bought it from Sandcrest. Good bunch of guys. This is nothing against them, and I'm not even gonna say it's against the trailer manufacturer, which I don't know. I kind of feel like they're at fault. It's a Trax trailer, first one I've ever bought. 8-inch I-beam. I kind of did a walk around, but it's 8-inch I-beam, 4-inch flange, just a hair under a 1/4-inch flange, so it's really close to my, it's within, you know, a couple thousandths of the flange on my 6-inch I-beam low trail tilt trailer. But what I have learned is all axles are not created equal. This has two 8,000-pound axles under it. And I'm gonna pull the wheels and tires off because I put my bore wheels on it with my 19.5s, and so I love those things. They wear awesome. You turn and they don't do the crazy thing like this and all that. They stand nice and straight. They don't scuff. They, you know, they ride real nice. You can definitely tell a big difference having them on the trailer. The bad thing is they are so damn heavy. Those things have got to weigh more than 100 pounds. Here's some brand new 16-inch 14-ply tires. Watch. I can pick it up. Okay? I mean, it's not, you know, 10 pounds. I can pick it up with one hand. Those things, you have to have two hands on it. You almost have to get on the ground, get your legs under it, kind of get it to go up. I just don't want that much rotational weight on it. I can't bring myself to leave them on there. Second thing we'll do is I lost an LED lens. They said they'd take care of it. I don't know. I got a buddy of mine that owns a supply company. It's AA Wheel in town. Wes, his parents own it. He runs the one here in Kansas City. So, oh, I guess that's got top and everything. So this is a 24 diode, obviously 12 volt, 4-inch stop tilt turn. It is made by UB Lights, and I think he told me these have a 7-year warranty on them. And dude, I'm telling you, like, this thing has some weight to it. Like, normally you pick these up and they're like, you know, plastic and a little tiny circuit board and light as a feather. And like the 6-inch ovals, I stock a bunch of stuff. This thing has some weight to it. 24 diode, 6-inch oval, stop tilt turn. Again, the UV, they're all the same manufacturer. But anyways, all right, so I'm just gonna throw a jack underneath the trailer, jack it up. I'll just do one side at a time. But we'll do this side over here because I got a little more sunlight over here. Let me get it jacked up, and then I'm gonna explain to you what this trailer manufacturer's doing. And maybe they're not educated about it and they have no idea what they're doing. I probably don't buy it. Anyways, because if you're a trailer manufacturer, you ought to know trailers better than the consumer. I mean, I'm kind of I don't know. I kind of think of myself as not a know-it-all for trailers and stuff, but I know quite a bit about trailers. I can usually identify stuff on them. I used to build them a lot. I may end up starting to build them because this whole thing's kind of aggravated me. But anyways, I'm sitting here ranting. Let me get a jack under it. I'll throw it underneath the slipper in the middle. And then we'll get these heavy bastards off. I'll set it up here and you can see me struggle getting them off. I mean, I can pick up a lot of weight. These things are freaking heavy. I don't have a scale or anything to weigh them, but they are freaking heavy. Anyways, let me get an impact and jack over here, and we'll get these off, and I'll explain what's up with these axles. Air helps. love this impact. It's an Ingersoll Rand 2235, I guess. Where are you guys at? Let me see. Ingersoll Rand 2235. I don't know. It's fairly new. I had a tool day one time and bought a couple new impacts. Not that I really needed them. Okay. So this thing, I'm probably gonna hurt myself. Oh man. Like, this is heavy. It is heavy. Like, I can't even tell you how heavy it is, but it's pretty heavy. I mean, not even trying to be a puss, they are heavy. I mean, granted, you know, the center of the wheel is 3/8 thick, and I know the sidewalls on these tires are pretty damn thick, but those are extremely heavy. Okay, now let's go through and explain these axles, because this has really perturbed me. Like, I'm debating on even keeping the dang trailer. So this is Lippert axle, okay? I was just looking to see what model numbers they had. So I looked underneath it, or when we went down there, we put my 19.5s on here. And I looked at them like, man, those aren't 10K brakes. So an 8,000 pound axle is supposed to have a 3.5-inch axle tube, the same as like a 10K. And the reason being is it runs 10K brakes. It has different backing plates than a typical 10K axle. So it's got an 8K axle, has its own backing plate. And if you're an axle manufacturer and I'm incorrect, I'm sorry, but this is how it was explained to me. And it's always been explained to me this way. That's why when I seen this, I'm like, that doesn't look right. The backing plates are pretty heavy on this. They're it seems like they're a little heavier duty than normal. And maybe they are. They might have made them this way. But a typical 8K axle is 3.5-inch axle tube. And it'll have a 12 or 12 1/4, I don't remember which, by 3 3/8 wide shoe. That's this wide. This is a 12 by 2-inch shoe. 5,200, 6,000 pound, and 7,000 pound axles take a 3-inch axle tube, different diameter or different thicknesses, different wall thicknesses, and they take a 12 by 2-inch brake. So basically, if you look at it in my eyes, this is a glorified 8K axle with an oil bath hub. Lippert, I talked to the actual manufacturer, and they said that they spec these axles out to be a 8K axle. They call it an 8K hybrid. They were made for, and I won't mention, but they were made for a specific trailer parts manufacturing company. And this is how they spec'd it out. No camber. They're not a cambered axle, so I'm going to have a little more tire wear than what I'd like to have. And I don't really care so much about the 3.5-inch axle tube, but going with a 3.5-inch axle tube, I get the brakes that I wanted. I wanted 3 3/8 inch wide brakes. It's 1 3/8 wider than what these are. These are 2-inch wide shoes. The other ones are 3 3/8 wide. You're almost getting, most times it feels like you literally have twice the stopping power, because each, you know, 1/2 inch of friction that you add to the shoes, you get a lot more braking. We used to do that back in the day in the old body style Fords. We'd put 1-ton brakes on the back of the 3/4 tons because I think it was like a 1/2 inch wider shoe. Well, hell, it'd make you feel like you had 3 times the brakes just by adding a 1/2 inch. So, and I mean, these look to be 4,000 pound springs. They do look like a 4,000 pound spring, and that's what they said. If you pair this axle with a 4,000 pound spring, they consider this an 8K axle. Well, that's all well and fine if you just wanted the number to be right on the trailer. I wanted the bigger brakes. That's why I bought 8K axles in this trailer. I'd like to have an I-beam trailer with a dovetail, so it met that criteria, and it was supposed to have 8K brakes. It doesn't. So if you guys are out there shopping for a trailer, and I'm not saying don't buy this trailer, I'm not saying anything about that at all, but if you guys are shopping for a trailer and you want 8K axles under your trailer, it has to have a bigger axle tube than that. It's supposed to be a 3.5 inch axle tube. Granted, Lippert says these are 8K axles. Well, it's got the same damn tube as a 7K axle, same wall thickness and everything as what they told me from the manufacturer, and it's got 12 by 2 inch brakes. So what makes this an 8K axle? You don't get the bigger axle tube and you don't get the bigger brakes. So that being said, buyer beware, I guess. I don't know what else to say. I figured I'd let everybody know because I didn't know that, and I feel like I know a fair amount about trailers. Anyways, I don't know what I'm gonna do, guys. I don't know. I might actually build my own trailer. I've been talking for years about getting my trailer manufacturing license, and I may just do that. Granted, if you do build this trailer, you don't want to build this trailer with an 8K axle and I-beam. I was wondering how he got the width, because this is 84 inches wide in between the fenders, which is amazing for my excavator. It gives me a couple more inches over here on each side, you know, over the width of my tracks, over even like my tilt trailer, I think is 82 inches. So I get another inch on each side over that trailer. And that trailer, I have plenty of room, so it's nice. Any more deck space that you can gain is nice. But if you look at this setup with an I-beam, so this is probably 1.5 inches or 1 3/4 inches right here, because it's a 4-inch flange. This I-beam is a 4-inch flange. Here, let's just get a tape measure and let's just see how correct I am. Grab a tape measure. So the inside of this I-beam, look at that, 1 3/4 inches. Just a hair over, if you're on the flange, a hair over 1 3/4 inches. What is that? Almost 1 7/8 inches. So if you gain, so the hub face is going to be the same on the other axles. If you get an 8K axle, this is an 80 by 95, which is 80-inch spring center, 95 hub face to hub face. That's how they rate your axle or your dimension. So an 8K axle with a 95-inch hub face, you're looking at 78-inch spring center to spring center. So in order to do that on this trailer, I'd have to cut this web, which is kind of defeating the purpose of having the I-beam, and then I would have to move this spring hanger. Let me see where you guys are at. I'd have to move the spring hanger inboard 1 inch. Well, right now it's riding in the middle of it, which is where you want it. And it's nice, you know, it's got a piece of angle iron going all the way across, and it ties in both the hangers so it doesn't let them deflect or anything. Really nice. But that being said, I can't even order a set of 8K axles and get the brakes that I want because of the way the trailer's built. So in order to get an I-beam trailer, you would have to have it in probably the width of this flange to get it to where your brakes would fit. So let's just see. I think you'll be, what do you be, 80 inches? You'll be 80 inches. Because your hub centers are going to be 78 inches. And then you can be 1 inch out on each side. You'd probably be 80 inches wide, which is typical. I think some of them can get you 82 wide, and that's usually channel iron because obviously you won't have this flange. But I think you'd be about 78 or 80 inches wide in between, depending on where you wanted your I-beam to sit. So if I built one, I'd probably build it out of channel iron, kind of like what Load Trail does. And I'd put an actual 8K axle under it if somebody wanted 8K axles. Now, when I usually do that, I've done it way in the past. It's been a while since I built a bigger trailer like that. I'd use 8-inch channel iron, and I would use 8-inch, you know, do a full wrap tongue all the way back to my hanger to where I'd tie in with a plate, and then I'd run the channel right to it. That way that wrap tongue would go all the way up and kick in. Well, the nice thing about an I-beam trailer is see the lack of steel? You don't need that wrap tongue, so you don't need a piece of channel. You don't need a piece of channel here going underneath. You know, basically it would be here. You don't need that extra channel going all the way down, because that's a lot of extra weight coming all the way across this bed. And then obviously, you know, this would be cut right here, and then that wrap channel tongue would go, you know, where this tongue is. So basically you'd be adding an extra piece of steel here all the way back to that hanger. So that's the nice thing about an I-beam trailer. That's why this whole trailer only weighs 3,200 pounds. You don't have that wrap tongue. That's an incredible amount of weight that you save by going with an I-beam trailer. The bad thing is, with what I wanted to do, is I don't get my big brakes now. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna run the trailer for a little bit. I bought the damn thing. I own it. I could probably ask the company that I bought it from to take it back, but I don't want to go there because I bought the trailer. I should have looked at it harder, and I should have made sure I fell in love with it before I left with it. Because there's little things. I mean, the paint quality is not great. You know, they laid it over both sides, so I can see almost where my 12,000 pound wheel strength, or my, you know, brake strength is. And then obviously they flipped it over there, so they got both sides of that one. They got both sides of this one. I mean, I'm not quite sure why you flip your D-ring back and forth when you're painting the damn trailer. This little fur strip, let's not do that. So if you need some more board, how about if we, you know, get a 2x6 in here instead of the 2x8s? You know, throw a 2x6 in there and get your gap to where, you know, put a 2x10 in it, or whatever you need to do. Get your gapping right to where we don't have this little fur strip. You know, let's get it in here. Let's run a couple 2x6s to where we can make up the difference, and maybe shave down 2 2x6s and have like 2x8, 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 and then maybe 3 or 4 2x6s through the middle. And we don't have this little tiny fur strip that is, see how wide this is, 1.25 inches or something, 1.5 inches. I mean, you kidding me? Another thing we're going to change on it, like I said, I'm just going to keep the damn thing for a little bit. I'm cutting this box off. So this side's okay, but I mean, my God, can't you clean that up with a grinder before you weld it in? I don't know what these bolts are. I need to climb underneath there, because this is supposed to be on a wiring harness. And that's kind of telling me that there's probably a splice box underneath this trailer to where all this wiring goes into. It's supposed to be all wiring harness. I didn't climb underneath it. There's snow on the ground down there. Look at this. I mean, if you miscut that, maybe cut another piece. Don't try to take the piece and flip it over backwards or something just to avoid the gap. That looks horrible. I mean, doesn't that look horrible? That looks horrible. Who wants that? I don't know, the welds aren't great. Got a lot of fucking splatter. I mean, lots of splatter. An easy way to take care of this, get you a what you call it? God, I can't even think of it now. Yep, a needle scaler. I've got a needle scaler. I use a needle scaler when I get something like this and I didn't spray anti-spatter on it. I mean, anti-spatter, or, you know, spatter all the way across it. I don't know. I'm probably going to clean this up, and then I'm probably going to have to try to clean it up enough to where I can repaint it. But I'm going to cut all this crap off. I'm going to cut this box off. I'll try to come in here and slice that, because that's a piece of channel iron that kind of comes like that. So I'm going to cut all this crap off. I'm going to cut this off here, because this doesn't even go all the way back. And then I'll put another piece of 3-inch channel across here. I'm going to put a toolbox, and then I'm going to put a mount coming out of here or coming off of this or whatever, and it's going to come up, and then I'm going to have my spare tire mounted right there. So that'd be nice. It'll just be a 10-ply spare, because I don't have a 14-ply spare. I'm going to take this coupler off, because I don't know what coupler that is, but I don't like it. I'm going to take it off, and I'm going to put it on my load trail, because I'm still on my load trail tilt trailer. I'll take my Demco that I love, and this will have a Demco on it. It would have been nice. I mean, you've got this plate coming down. How about you put a 6-hole adjuster on it? because with the 19.5s at least, so if you put, well, I guess 17.5s are a little closer to size. My 19.5s are a little taller, so it makes it sit a little tall. But if you're gonna have this plate on here already, why don't you put a 6-hole on it? You know what I mean? Let's get a little more adjustment. I-beam trailers are known to have to be adjusted towards the bottom of the scale because they don't have that lower piece coming on the bottom of the tongue. But anyways, so we're gonna cut all that off. Those rattle cans on the back of the skid loader. Let's actually test that. Those rattle cans I had made at O'Reilly's. So if I would have taken the trailer down, he said he probably could get a decent scan off of this, but he said if there's any orange peel or anything, a lot of times they see, look at all the spatter, guys. I mean, come on. Love your trailer a little more than that. You know, spatter, it's already rusting because, you know, you had spatter and stuff and then you painted it in it. And I mean, the welds aren't amazing. A lot of them aren't bad. But like this stuff, this is on the front of your trailer, man. I mean, seriously. Seriously. But let's see. We're gonna test this out right now, guys. You will be able to see if I'm any good at holding a pink chip up to a coupler or not. I'm not. Look at that. That sticks out like a sore thumb. Maybe it'll dry closer, but woo! Horrible. I always kind of feel like that these rattle cans, and you know what, I didn't shake that up a whole lot. I always feel like these rattle cans are a little lighter. They said not so much, but it always seems like every time I get a rattle can, I got to go a couple tones darker. We're getting better. As I'm shaking it up, that's getting better. I mean, it's not horrible if I get it in the right light. Man, that shows up worse on camera, really. But I bet you that would dry decently close. I'm probably gonna have to get something a little darker though. I don't like that. Yeah, it's off. We'll see what it looks like after it's dry tomorrow. I'll probably have to get something else. We might use this for primer. So I'm not very good at that, guys, I guess. I was holding it up to the coupler. I took the coupler with me and held it up to the sun, or held it up, you know, kind of in the sun, and tried to match it fairly close off a paint chip, and that's probably not close enough. But I guess I'll go a couple shades darker or something. But anyways, there's kind of a walk around, a second walk around, I guess. Maybe we'll just use this as the first walk around. And really, I just wanted to warn everybody about these axles, because I feel like I know a fair amount about trailers. I didn't catch it, and that's my bad. And it's not their fault. They ordered it with 8K axles. The trailer manufacturer said it had 8K axles. They didn't pull the wheels. Or, well, maybe it came in a stack, and, you know, they're not going to diagnose it and look it over like that. They're not going to be like, oh, look, you know. I mean, maybe somebody might have caught it, but I don't expect them to catch something like that. Anyways, I'm going to anti-seize my lug nuts, because it seems like when trailer studs are new, they go a little bit. I don't know if you guys know, this is a torque stick, so these are 9/16 studs. It takes a 7/8 socket instead of 13/16 like a 1/2-inch stud. And this is the white is 120 foot-pounds. So you put this in there. When you put them back on, do not take your wheels off with this. It will damage it, is what I've always been told. You put that in there, and do not put your hand on this while you are tightening it down. It works off of vibration, so if you hold it, you can actually over torque it. So at least that's what I was told by, you know, the people that sell them. So anyways, I've had that's actually a newer one, because I don't know what happened to my other one, but anyways, I've had those things for years and years. Anyways, I'm gonna anti-seize those. I'm gonna grab my 14 plies. I'm gonna get the other side done. And I might actually put the 4-inch rounds in the back, because obviously the one needs to be replaced and I want them all to match. So we'll put them in there, and then I'm going to pull this poor trailer outside until I have time to cut that that stuff off the front, but I kind of want to get a little bit better paint match first. I wish that matched a little better, but it is what it is. But anyways, that's the video. I'm going to get this finished up, and thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day. I hope you have a good weekend. It's Friday. Weekend's coming. I've had a horrible week, but hopefully the weekend's better. We're supposed to have rain all day tomorrow. I don't know if that's better or worse, but anyways, I'm going to try to get this stuff done before the wife gets home. So you guys have a good day. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. We'll be doing street trees next week, so you guys can watch us dig some trees in on the street. That's always fun. Thanks.